go live on this one. Let's get him Aussie. Yeah, we'll be right. We'll be right. If there's a big issue, we can always stop.
Live.
Is anyone watching?
You could probably pick that one up, mate, if you want.
Yeah, it's probably better to hold it.
All right. Okay.
If that's all right. Yeah, we'll put that down there. All right.
Two.
All good.
Hello and welcome to the Bodysurf podcast with your budgie boys, Tim and Owie, hydrated by Hairy Man Brewery. We've actually got a few salt dogs here in the studio today, so we might crack one with our very special guest, Dave Molloy. How you doing, mate?
Good evening, Tim and Owie.
Now, have you had a Hairy Man beer before?
I must admit I have not.
Ooh. Now, you were up at Whomp Camp last year. We were handing these around, but you didn't get to try it, I'm guessing. Have a go of this and tell us what you think. There you go, you have that one.
Is that COVID safe? Tim?
Yeah,
Just
I've been
opened a beer
tested.
for someone else.
I'm negative. It's all good.
Did you actually have a test?
Nah.
Well, you can't get a positive reading unless you've had a test, can you?
Exactly. That's what the politics tell me.
That's right. Now, how's that, Dave?
That's very nice.
Oh, there you and you wouldn't say if it wasn't, would you?
No.
That's right. Now, it is a bit different, the old salty dog. We do like a salt dog here. Andy down at Hairy Man is really trying something different with this one. But it reminds us of actually having a surf. It's got that much salt in it that it's really just like copping a mouthful. And for one, I'm a big fan of it. Have a taste. Have a sip.
It's it brings back echoes of Belgian beers.
Ah, yeah.
I spent 6 months in Antwerp. I'm a travel wanker.
Traveller.
Whoa.
Do you see my leather jacket? No, I did live for 6 months in Belgium, and you go to the bars that surround the local cathedral, and you sample the Belgian beers there.
Delicious, delicious. And we're going to get a little bit into more of your story, Dave, and I'm really excited about it because often we see you behind the lens, you know, but you get out there, you have a crack. I've had some surfs at Maroubra where the surf's been quite large. So I guess do we want to jump right into it, Timmy, or we'll take a couple of steps back and then we'll dive into it later.
Yeah, we're a bit all over the place tonight, but I think what we really want to get into first is have a bit of a Whomp Camp chat. Now, Whomp Camp's coming up next weekend. David, I believe you were the person who booked the last cabin available. Is this true?
Yes, because I heard Woofo was on the hunt for one. I just got in before he did.
Yeah, that's right. So there's no Whomp Cab this year. The Whomp Cab's not happening for us. But it is for you, Dave.
Dave's got the cabin. Now, I believe last year you took down a very nice van. However, you got vetoed this year. The misso said, no, I'm only going if I can get a luxury cabin, and you caved in and purchased the cabin.
Actually, it was the other way around.
Oh, okay.
Really?
She said she was happy to camp, but I said, no, I want my own shower. I don't want to share with those...
Those grubs.
Those, budgie boys.
Oh, wow. Just us.
Well, and the others.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, the Goldie Sliders aren't going to be there this year. So
yes.
it's a positive for all of us, really. Because that's Simon Svensson. He's a stinky boy. I know from personal experience.
Now, before we get into it, Owie, I think we should just report some very sad news. Unfortunately, one of Whomp Camp's biggest legends, Belly Slater, will not be in attendance.
That's the first I've heard of
This
that.
is huge. Now,
are you kidding?
He's probably got a weekend away booked at the Gold Coast or something. So
well, that's right. I mean, he's the only person in Australia that can get into the Gold Coast, and he's booked it for Whomp Camp weekend. And to be fair, I'm not okay with it.
I don't think that's true, but I think we'll just give Belly a call now and get the full story.
Right. He's not going to pick up. There's no way he's going to pick up.
Hello.
Belly, it's Tim and Owie from the Bodysurf podcast here, mate. We've just learnt that you may not be able to attend Whomp Camp this weekend. Is it true?
Oh, dear, that's good. Well, let's clean joint Tim and Owie in the twin set between the sets. So good to hear from you, boys.
That's a very somber rendition of the Between the Sets theme. Are you doing okay there, Belly?
That's the best I could muster. to be honest, I mean, I knew you'd be calling, and I've been trying to hype up all the phone calls just to give the listeners what they've come to expect from their boy B Slay. But there's not much to give tonight. There's not much joy to share.
Now tell us, Belly, why are you unable to attend Whomp Camp?
All right, there's nothing exciting or funny about it. I've got work to do. I've got a big thing that I need to prepare for, and that leaves me stuck here over the weekend doing that.
Well, a lot of people are working from home these days. Would you be able to maybe prepare this work?
I'm preparing. I am preparing. But I'm going to need to prepare through the weekend for it. There's no option.
So what you're saying, Belly, is that there's no possible way that you're going to turn up at all. It's not just this isn't just a ploy just to say, well, hey, I might not come, and then surprise, there you're there.
Because last year
you jumped out of the fire.
You were hiding in the bushes for a while, and you
Whomp Camp, and I've said no, and they've said some really nice things like, "Oh, Barry, Whomp Camp's not the same without you. We really like having you around." I just wonder, is it because no one else is stupid enough to jump in the fire? Is it because they just need just another idiot to sacrifice? Because I'm sure Captain Kirkman, you ply him with enough liquor, and that guy will jump in the fire in a heartbeat. And to be honest, I'm not that worried. We've got you boys, and you guys are the heart of global body surfing culture. You've got the gear, you've got the gab. He's got the pipes, he's got the six string. As long as someone's there to play a rendition of the anthem, the Whomp Camp anthem, I'm sure that Owi's learnt it already, then the spirit of Belly lives on in all of us.
Will you be packing the Maton guitar, Owie?
Oh, not the Maton, Timmy. We actually just made comment on your left-handed Maton, which is a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. But to be fair, I have learnt the anthem, but I don't know whether I'm going to be packing the guitar.
You've got the old Clarkie.
I've got the Cole Clark,
That's right.
but it may be staying home. Belly, what are your thoughts on that? Will there be a guitar there that I can play, or should I not risk it? Should I pack the six string?
No, you've got to pack the six string. You've absolutely got to pack the six string. I'll tell you, in all honesty, if you end up around the campfire and there's no musical act or focal point, things get kind of they fizzle out really early. You need someone to drum up the hype, and something for everybody to focus on. Well, and that's got to be you this year. It's your turn to step up.
No. I don't really mind if it fizzles out early as long as it doesn't get violent. I don't want there can't be any violence there.
Are Babot and Rosenbach going to be there this year?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Are they bringing their RMs?
Because if the two of them are going to be there, then you can be sure that there'll be fireworks. Those two hate each other.
Oh, really?
That's the fiercest rivalry in all of world body surfing. Those guys, you can't put them within 100 feet of each other. They'll go at each other hard. And it's hard to know when you're picking a fight between Nick Babot and the Barrel Pig. Because obviously Babot, you look at Babot, he's what? I mean, he's 110 kilos of pure Speedo-clad man beef. But Rosenbach, I mean, that dude, he's wiry and he's wily and he's unpredictable. He's kind of got that homeless look about him, that nothing to lose kind of look. So my money would probably be on him.
Well, it's like Dalasam versus Zangief in Street Fighter, really, because I mean you got the big lanky Rosenbrock, and you've got the big stocky Brabot, and so you're saying they don't like each other.
That's the understatement of the year. They hate each other. They've hated each other for three.
That's
for
a
about
Bodysurf
3 or 4
exclusive.
years.
We should get them on
Oh,
the...
there's no. That's old news. I mean, those guys have been going at each other, especially online as well. The slander, that's all you could call it. The slander that they've been chucking at each other online. It's atrocious, but it's of course very entertaining.
Because there's big beefs. There's big beefs in the world of body surfing. I mean, you've got your... should I name names?
No.
Yeah.
Well, Belly knows. Belly can name names.
Yeah, well, none bigger than Rose and Babot. But of course, I mean, there's also the Ricky from Ecto and Chris. So the Ricky from War and Chris from Ecto.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
That's the original beast. Those guys as well. They act all chummy when it comes to Whomp Off because it's good for hand plane sales. But behind closed doors, those guys can't stand each other.
Well, that's right.
Think about it. They've both come out with wooden hand planes, both with an eco-friendly kind of sales angle right at the same time. And we all know who's winning that battle.
Yeah, that's right. And Belly, I mean, that's why we bring it up. I don't want any violence. So what you're saying is pack the Cole Clark and everything will go peaceful.
Well, that's right. We need some kumbaya. We need some kumbaya. Otherwise, things could get wild.
And nothing brings the people together than the official Whomp Camp theme song, the anthem that you wrote. Are you able to send through the chords so we can learn it in a couple of days?
Yeah. CFG.
There you go.
There you go.
In the bag.
Can I tell you something else? Hipto, he doesn't have a rival. Strangers are his rivals. You put Justin Spittle. You put him in a wave kind of environment with people who aren't locals or people he doesn't know, and he goes psycho. Like he's probably the most dangerous body surfer out of the pack.
Yeah,
and it's a little known fact because he's the loveliest, friendliest, just warm, gregarious guy. But you just put him near a kook, and it's like Jekyll and Hyde. One thing I was going to say about just getting back to that Rosenbach fight, if Rosenbach was one of those high-intensity rowing machines, then your money would be on Babot.
Yeah.
Because he slays those things on the daily. But he's not. I think Babot's in trouble unless the thing's got handles and you can row it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. This is a Whomp Camp exclusive for us.
Yeah.
So Belly's out. And really, the whole weekend's resting on our shoulders now. We've been bestowed by Belly to be keepers of the peace, Tim.
And bring the hype.
Yeah, that's right.
You could say the baton's been passed, but now it's the maton that's been
There we go. I don't know. That's too much stress for me to handle, Tim. But I'm Belly. I want to say that if you can make it happen with any chance, by any stretch, please turn up. I don't care what time it is. It can be Saturday, midday. It can be Sunday afternoon, mate. If we can see you there, please make it happen.
It's funny because, a lot of people think of me as, the big wooden spoon of the body surfing community, some sort of big shit stirrer, but it's really not the case. If anything, I'm the peacemaker and I'm the one that, the one thing stopping all of the rival body surfers from the rival companies and the rival crews from going at each other's
You're
throats.
the cork. You're the cork. If anyone's seen Lost out here, I don't know, lots of people haven't, but
no Lost chat.
But Belly is the cork holding the evil in.
It's a heavy burden, and it rests on your shoulders now, boys. Big things to fill.
A lot of pressure, but thank you so much for having a chat with us, and I hope you are able to knuckle down and get your work done, and hopefully we can catch up soon, Belly.
Listen, thanks for calling. Thanks for thinking of me and for keeping me relevant.
We'll catch you in the Goldie soon, man.
Yeah.
What?
Belly Slater there on the phone joining us on the Bodysurf podcast. Unfortunately, Belly Slater will not be in attendance at Whomp Camp this weekend, but someone who will be, David Molloy. Welcome to the podcast. Now, do you mind just getting that microphone right up against your mouth because everyone wants to hear what you've got to say? Thanks for being a guest. Now, What do we call you? Are you a body surf photographer? Are you a body surfer and photographer? What's your official title?
A body surfer and photographer.
Yeah. I love this idea. Owie was telling me there's this new club, the Maroubra Body Surfers, and a great bunch of guys, and you two have both been involved in them. But what's starting to happen is you'll jump in the water, someone else will come and take a few photos, and then you'll jump out, you'll take a few photos, and you sort of share this responsibility, which is great because sometimes it's hard to get a photo of yourself and you don't want to be stuck on the beach or with a camera the whole time. You want to get in there. How have you been going with this new arrangement, and how have the Maroubra Body Surfers been going?
Well, we're the son of ESBS, I like to consider ourselves. ESBS, they're the go hard guys. They command the Cape, and they are the ultimate body surfers. I think Maroubra.bodysurf are a bit more laid back, a bit more suburban, and so that's how we're travelling at the moment. At the moment, we're just getting a logo together.
Okay.
And that's interesting. We've had some gender issues with the logo, but I think that's been sorted now.
The chat on the WhatsApp group has been very interesting, and the logo's quite a protective thing when you design something and you have ownership over it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a very protective thing. I remember when we did our original Budgie Boys logo. Sean probably I made him design about 50, literally 50, and every single one of them we could have used. But we needed to get it right, and I'm so happy that we did. And then he came up with the second one, which is awesome. So it's always a process of kind of giving away that ownership of what you've created for the greater good of the club, I guess. And so for us, we all had input. I remember we went and gave blood, and we were like, no, that colour's got to go here. Now we've got to do this. Now it's not quite right. So, yeah, tell us a little bit more about, I guess, Maroubra Body Surf it's not really an official club at the moment. It's just people who body surf in Maroubra. So, I mean, for instance, I'm in the group chat. Olga's in the group chat. There's a few other blow-ins. Tell us a bit about it.
That Olga guy, is he a good person?
Have you met him? Because the answer's no.
Because he talks big game, but I haven't seen him at Maroubra ever.
Yeah, I don't think he knows how to get there.
Yeah. Because I think he wants, I'm your personal photographer, Owie. You know that?
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, we've got a verbal agreement on that.
I think he wants to join this elite group, but I'm not quite too sure about it. What do you think?
No, I'd have him in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Wolfo, you got something there?
I'm pretty sure Olga's only in that chat because we won't let him in our one.
Yeah, he messages me regularly and says, surely I've earned it now. I'm like, mate, I don't let people who are actually in our club join the chat. So he's definitely not coming in. You guys were very open and welcoming for anyone to join the chat. Yeah. I mean, I was in the Central Coast Body Surface chat for a weekend. And then I got blocked and deleted. So I've been in the Maroubra Body Surf chat for a few weeks now, and it seems to be going good. I don't know everyone in the chat, but it's good.
Yeah. So there's people there that are not connected to ESBS.
Yeah.
And so that's, and also as Tua correctly brought up, we couldn't be bothered going up to Tamar and Bronte trying to find a parking spot, and literally we could have called the group that because that is the problem.
Yeah.
So,
saying that Maroubra's a great beach, and it's a great break.
Yes, fantastic. Although this last swell has gouged the beach out, and the break's now a considerable way up to. Has that happened at Cronulla?
Yeah, we've had a bit of erosion. Wolfo, you'd know more. You're always down the beach.
There's no beach left.
Yeah.
But the banks have been pretty good.
The banks have been good because I think all of that sand that has been pulled away from the dunes there is now sitting out in the water, creating some nice waves for us to ride on. Although I haven't been for a surf since those big swells.
A lot of the guys are now doing, the shore break, and having great fun in that.
Absolutely. So, Dave, two-part question. One, how did you get into body surfing? And then, how did you get in photography? What came first?
Oh, body surfing. So my uncle, who was a Victorian surf lifesaver, and his father, he had a caravan park up at Woolgoolga. and I used to get sent up there by my parents, and when I came back, they had moved, but that's an old joke. So my uncle had taught me to body surf when I was about 8 or 9 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I've been doing it now for over 50 years.
Wow, nice. And then the photography came a bit later on in life?
A lot later.
Yeah.
So I was overseas for 15 years, working overseas, and so you want better and better travel photos. So you become more interested in photography. I'm sure you guys have experienced that. Anyone that's gone away wants better and better photos, and I just got more and more into it. When I came back home, through a friend, I was able to get a gig photographing the Reds up in Brisbane, or the Reds rugby union side, and then I got more and more gear, and then that good gear was fantastic for photographing the body surfing.
Yeah. So when was the first, I guess, exploration or experimentation with body surf photography? When was the first time you started snapping those sort of photos?
Once I'd got the gear for the rugby, and then I'd be coming down to Tamarama, and I saw these other body surfers, and standing on the road there, and said, these guys are fantastic. And then I joined them in the water and found out they were ESPS, and then it's gone from there.
Yeah. And tell us a bit more about your involvement with ESPS. You sort of mentioned the Maroubra boys are like the sister club or the offspring of the ESPS guys. That club's been around for a while. You kind of joined them when they were sort of starting out, and they've become sort of a bigger than Ben-Hur kind of club. They've got some of the biggest names in body surfing. You've got who's in the club? There's Ricky. There's Barrel Pig. Who else is there?
Paul Cardall.
Paul, who's the captain.
Who's my favourite body surfer, actually, because if I could take my top 20 body surfing photos, he'd be in 10 of them. I would be in 5 of them, actually. And I'm not joking about that. And
that's good.
And Robbie Meld would also be in there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but Paul, and we've got Dean, who's
Dean Jazz, yeah.
Oh, he's a big wave surfer, that guy.
He's really quite interesting, because every time I watch him body surf, he's very good, but he's not just very, very good because he's a great swimmer. He's very good because he will go anything, literally anything. If anything rolls over, even close to the rocks, I'll watch him at Tama, and he'll be standing like in this much water and then take off on a wave. It's just, he's phenomenal.
Yes, there's so many good body surfers there, and you just go to any club and I'm blown away by the quality of all of them.
I'm actually glad you brought up OE. I don't think OE gets the respect and attention he deserves. He's one of the best body surfers going around.
Oh, thank you,
And I
Tim.
know-
That's a lie.
Well,
I paid him for this, obviously.
I think it's funny because we do dick around here and we joke that we're not very good and we don't get in the water that much. But I think Dave is one of the people that have brought OE to the limelight and to the front of the page, because you've got some great photos of OE on some huge waves out in Maroubra especially, but also some other secret spots that you guys go out to sometimes. And they're amazing photos. How do you go in the body surfing sort of world? I've never really seen you in the water. I've always seen you behind the lens.
I'd say I'm one of the East Coast's most boring body surfers.
I wouldn't say that. Every time I've had a surf, you're out there catching waves, and then you get the itch, and you go, I've got to go and shoot something. I think that's your big downfall, because you can body surf quite well, but I think you like shooting maybe a little bit more than you like body surfing.
Oh, it's not an itch; it's tiredness.
Right, it's the itch.
I'm nearly 60 years old, so I'm going to pull the old man card.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, it's more tiredness than anything else. So I'd like to go in.
Well, you are the second oldest body surfer we've had on the podcast behind Matt Bond. So, how is it being older and getting in the water? How do you feel compared to when you were a spring chicken, like I guess myself and Tim?
Well, I competed in some of the competitions Don McCready organised in 1987.
Wow.
1988, I think it was. And they were held at Tama, and I've got a few places, not high up, but I got through a few heats. But now I can only last 20, 30 minutes in the water.
Yep.
Before I was 3 hours in the water. So, age This bitch.
How have you found mentally it's treated you? So I guess when you're younger, you're building up to those bigger swells, maybe those harder breaks, like say a reef break. Have you found that your mind is there, that you're like, I could easily surf that, but maybe your body's not there anymore? How does that kind of affect you when looking at, say, a 6 to 8 foot face of a wave?
No, if the swim's too difficult to go out or to come back in, I will not do it now. Whereas before I would be able to. And it doesn't help being a fat bastard.
Cheers to that, obviously.
So, Dave, I guess we've got to talk about, you've got, I guess, 2 floppy buckets. One's your body surfing gear and then your photography. You briefly talked about what's in your photography floppy bucket, but what's in your body surf floppy bucket?
So actually I have 2 buckets because I have a bucket up at Mum and Dad's in the Gold Coast.
Ooh.
And I have my bucket down here. So bucket up in Gold Coast, I've got an ecto and a war workshop. And I have some blades and some defends.
Yep.
Down here I have a garage for the GoPro, and then I have a bad fish and another workshop. The bad fish, Ricky's hit it out of the park with that one.
Yeah.
In fact, I will not use my bad fish because everyone else is using a bad fish.
Yeah.
That's the way body surfers are. You're quite individual.
Yeah.
And you go out and everyone has a bad fish, and for good reason. I love the garage because it's very stable and it's great for when you have the GoPro on. Bad fish is fantastic.
Belly was sort of alluding to a bit of a rift between Ricky and Ecto, and Belly wrote the book on body surfing commentating, and he actually sent it to me recently. Rule number 1 is create drama. That's what you just saw him do. But what is it like having Ricky in your crew when other people might, or yourself might, use other people's body hand playing equipment, that sort of thing?
Oh, he's cool with that. He really is. Because he knows that you've got war anyway, and if you use something else in the day, he doesn't mind.
Yeah.
He's cool. And I advise anyone, I don't know whether he's still doing the workshops, but going and making your own hand plane is just a fantastic day, and you're there with an expert, and it's cool.
Yeah. Now you mentioned you've got some blades up in the Gold Coast. Are they the Manta blades, the big blue and black ones?
No, not those.
Okay.
I can't remember.
But
I've had them for about 30 years.
But a similar sort of cut.
Yeah. Mum and Dad had them up in the attic while I was away, and they're still there when I came back every year.
I love that you have a kit up in the Gold Coast and a kit here, because the good thing about body surfing, and Corey mentioned this on the Today Show, is it's very easy to travel with this gear. You can chuck it in your overhead luggage. You just have a hand plane and some flippers, and that's it. But you like to have your gear in different states for when you're traveling.
I've got a set of golf clubs up there as well.
See, golf clubs, they're a bit harder to travel with, but yeah, that's cool that you've got a bit of gear down here and down there.
And so when I'm up there, I just contacted the Goldie Sliders on Insta. They said, we'll be here down at Narrowneck. Went down there, and they were very welcoming. And now I don't even bother. I just know they'll be there at 6:30 a.m. I'll just turn up, and there's someone in the water I know. So
how regularly do you to get to swim with them?
Well, that's changed dramatically now, hasn't it, for everybody?
Yeah.
So I used to go up to Mum and Dad 6 times a year. Now I've only seen them once this year, so it's a big difference.
Now let's talk a bit about your photography floppy bucket.
Yep.
What sort of gear is the best, I guess, for shooting body surfing from the shore? And then do you use any equipment when you're in the water?
Okay, so shooting from the shore, you need what photographers call the glass. So you need a long focal length, which is 300 millimeters at the least, but 400 to 500 is best, and that's expensive.
I think we should bring Wolfo in on this one, because someone who has a lot of photography pedigree, I would say.
Oh, don't know about that, but yeah.
Well, as much better than myself and Tim. Is what Dave's saying there. That's pretty much hitting the nail on the head. This guy he's been in a gallery, for photography. He's not mucking around. He's not putting his stuff on Instagram. I mean, he is, but like that's not the be all end all for Wolfo. He's a big boy.
At Photo Wolfo for those who want to follow him.
Thank you.
So that's pretty much spot on, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So the longer your lens, the better. Obviously, shooting from land. But one of my kind of photography, I suppose, mentors or friends, when I was asking him about photography when I was younger, the first thing he said to me straight away, because he surfed as well, was, "When you're shooting, you're not surfing." He goes, "Just always remember that." So, like he'd prefer for everyone to be surfing the whole time and not taking any photos at all. But yeah, it's a good hobby. It's really good.
Because you have also shot a bit of the footy as well.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
And is that like, do you guys find that a much different experience, or is it quite similar?
No, it is different because, well, no, actually, because you've got to predict. So when you're following the rugby, you've sort of got to know the game because you know the ball's going a certain way, and you've got to predict that, and you've got to do the same with the waves, and you can just turn around for a minute, and you've missed the shot.
Yeah.
Like, he was out in the water for 3 hours, and I only got one shot of him the other Tuesday
I was
afternoon.
just swimming for most of the time, but yeah, I can see what you're talking about.
The one wave he caught, I missed.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter, mate. You have those hit and misses all the time. I've got a client that I work with, and he used to be an ocean photographer when it was film. So he would tell me of stories where he's bringing out like suitcases pretty much full of film and changing roles in a boat when there's water splashing everywhere. And I mean, he went and was photographer for like Playboy and lots of high end things in America, not Australian like this. We're talking big time. And his thing was, if you don't get the shot, you don't get a contract next time. So it hit, like the stress was big time. And so I suppose more for when you guys are shooting at the footy, not so much when you're dicking around taking photos of body surfers, but I mean, it's still stressful in the digital age. And I think for people who are listening to this podcast, because we've got plenty of people who, if you're a body surfer, a lot of the time you either would like to get a shot of you, or you're working around with your GoPro, or you might have a camera of your own. I think it's just really good tips to have alongside body surfing as well, to go, maybe, I don't know, even putting yourself in the right position. If you're body surfing, think about how you guys would be thinking about shooting. Because, I mean, even for us, like I have like Jesse or other boys go, listen, there's heaps of shots of you on the Budgie Boys page. And I'm like, I go surfing quite a lot, one. But two, it's also putting yourself in the right position, I think. And if you're going to go out there and surf and you want a shot, you need to try and work with the photographer to get yourself in that position where you're going to get a good shot.
Yeah. So that's the same with Paul Cuddle. He catches more waves than anyone else. And so if you catch more waves than anyone else, you're going to get photographed more than anyone else.
Yeah.
You catch quite a lot of waves. And Rob catches lots of waves.
Yeah.
And we have Beck, a girl in the Maruba Bodysurf, and she catches lots of waves. And so she gets photographed more when she's at the beach, because she just catches more waves.
Yeah.
So that's my hint. If you know there's a photographer on the beach shooting, just catch as many waves.
Well, yeah, that was even the thing the other day when we went out at Tamarama. You were shooting and you said, well, go right. So I went out there initially thinking I was going to go T-Reef, go left. And yeah, when you shouted out, I decided to try and go right a couple of times, got swept, that's why I was swimming quite a lot. But I find myself quite picky about my waves. So that's actually quite good information. Try and, if you want to get a shot, just throw yourself into wave after wave after wave. But be smart about it as well. I mean, if you're going to get tired quickly, if you're getting on in age or you're getting on in kilos, then maybe be a bit more selective. But yeah, I think that's good information to have.
Now, I think we should have a quick chat about Whomp Camp. You may be listening to this podcast while you're driving to Whomp Camp. That's happening very, very soon, only a few sleeps away. I'm very excited about this camp. It's our second time going. Dave, how many times have you been?
This will be my second time.
Second as well. And as we mentioned at the start of the podcast, you're in the Whomp cabin this year, which is a lovely experience. And you might be sleeping in the same bed Wolfo had last time, the big queen bed. But
I doubt it. He's in the deluxe.
Oh, yeah.
In the Capu suite.
But will you come down and slum it with the plebs every now and again?
Well, I'll send the drone over and see what's happening. And then,
You can fly the drone, I reckon, from the cabin. You wouldn't even have to come down the beach.
yes, I'll just let it. It hasn't got sound though. The drone.
Well, Whomp Camp is a real interesting time where a lot of body surfers come together, but a lot of gadgets and toys come out. We saw the Flying Dutchman last year get all his drones out. I think Barrel Pig was riding the Dick Glider last year.
Debut of the Dick Glider.
Barrel Pig also had his huge Ben Way there. So everyone's trading equipment. Everyone's playing with their different toys. You guys got all your photography stuff going on. Last year, we took a bit of equipment as well. We took our old wooden analog mixer, and this is actually what happened. Not that one. I wish that happened. You don't really get a standing ovation. This is what happened.
All right, just hold it there. Hold it there. 1 second. Everyone just be silent for 1 second? All right. There's a massive buzz coming through here.
Surprisingly number one
I
on
think
the surprisingly number one on our best clips of all time, that one.
It was up there, yeah. So now we've got a bit more, I don't know, what would you call this gear? It's more forgiving. It's more understanding. It's more up to date. It's also more portable. So I think, Woofo, you're driving with me or I'm driving with you, and we've spoken about maybe recording a bit of a podcast on the drive up to document that. We'll also be interviewing a few people while we're there. Last time we had the cabin, we could invite people in. Are we just going to do it around the bonfire this time?
I guess so. Why not? We've got a battery pack, so...
The Matthew Bond fire.
Yeah. Now, Dave, you might have a bit of intel. We just found out Belly's not coming. Do you know who will be in attendance this year?
No, I'm not that. I don't have. I think if you've Ruby.Bodysurf are coming up. I know that Iola is going to be there. He's wandering around. He's doing a bit of intel at the moment, so he's going to Bluey's and Elizabeth and Boomerang at the moment, and he's going to join us at Whomp Camp.
Awesome. Now, a few budgie boys will be going, which is very exciting. Some have pulled out.
Really?
I think Matthew Bond was a late scratching.
No, I think he's back in.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah.
excites me a lot.
Wolfo, you're about to have the kid, aren't you? You're not coming. Sorry about
He's
that
4
last
months
week.
old.
Yeah, I know. But I've met him once.
Yeah, but you're never around.
Yeah, I never. Yeah, that's right. It's my fault. It's not your fault. That's why I'm apologising. Just to take a couple of steps back. Yes, Timmy. I think most of the budgie boys are there, maybe minus Robbie. With the deluxe cabin you've got there, Dave, we may need a place to charge this bad boy. So we're just wondering, like, maybe we flick you $5 or something for power.
We can have discussion.
Because, if we want to record a couple of interviews with some guests at Whomp Camp this year, we may need a bit of battery life for the packs. Now, you've got a spare battery pack there, don't you, Tim?
Yeah, this is cool.
You got it? Yep.
That's the battery pack there. This just powers the recorder, and yeah, we're good to go. But that lasts a while, so we should be okay. But I think if Woofo and I have a long chat on the car ride over, we might drain it. So that's all I'm worried about.
I could lend you that deep cycle battery in the inverter.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We've got options as well.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of gear going around. Now, I'm really concerned. Now, Dave, this may not be an issue for you, but what are you boys going to be eating? Because, are we taking an esky? Are we taking some beers? Are we taking jaffles for the jaffle line? How's this going to work?
Wolfo had a good spread last year. He goes, don't worry, boys. You get the beer, I'll bring the food. And bring the food you did. Sunday morning's breakfast cook-up was
Everything was left.
The only problem we had was we didn't have sauce. Yeah, no sauce. Yeah,
I'll pack the sauce this year.
You bring the sauce, Timmy. But that's the thing. If we don't have the luxury of the Whomp cab this year, so no fridge.
Yeah,
we're just going esky, boys, and then Yeah. What else?
I've got a fridge for the car.
Okay. Yeah.
Will it have room for a bolognese?
All right. So
Yeah,
how?
why not?
But how are we going to cook up?
I've got a gas cooker.
Gas or on the fire, straight on the fire.
Yeah.
Put a pan on a bit of coal.
Straight on the fire.
Just to get a bit of coal going. But yeah, that'll be right.
It's actually quite a lot harder than what you think, Tim.
Have you ever camped before?
I've watched a lot of Great Aussie Adventures. I think I know what I'm doing.
Speaking of great Aussie adventures, this is going to be one of the great Aussie adventures. We don't have to put up with Queenslanders. We don't have to put up with Victorians. New South Wales only. It's going to be good. Now, I've been looking at the long-range forecast. It's changing every day.
But it's meant to be warm.
Is it meant to be
Yeah,
warm?
it's a bit of heat coming through.
I hadn't looked at the actual temperature.
I've got this curse. Whenever I put up a tent, it just rains instantly. So I'm
not the
hoping
only
it
one.
doesn't rain.
Yeah, Timmy, the last time we went camping was one of the all-time greats. I'm sleeping in the back of my car, obviously, because I'm not an idiot. And I look out the window and Tim is... Honestly, I thought you were a doona blanket wrapped up and left out in the rain. It's exactly what it looked like.
I was like in, what do you call it, a one-man swag, but I was like traveling down a hill, like in a mudslide from all the rain. But yeah, Wolfo, I think we've got to put up a few tents for all the boys, but we'll be all right. We'll stay dry. And even if the weather's meant to be warm, that's one thing. Now we just have to pray for a bit of swell.
Yeah, it'll be good. And that's what I've been looking at, the swell forecast. Now, yesterday when I had a look, it's because the great thing about Seal Rocks is it actually comes out quite east, and so it's very exposed to any south swell. So from the long range forecast, it looks like there's a south swell pushing up the east coast that weekend, but we just have to cross our fingers that we're going to cop enough of it being out so far. The winds look actually really good, so that's the one positive. So even if there's not a lot of swell, at least it's going to be clean. Dave, have you had a chance to look at the forecast at all?
No, I've relied on your provisions.
Oh, thank you, mate. Yeah, well, I'm actually not. I'm not very good at it, but I try my best. I try and get pretty focused. Wolfo, have you had a look?
I had a brief look. The wind's the main thing. As long as
Yeah.
it's a couple of feet, I'm happy. And
Yes.
if the nor'easter's blowing, then we'll be sweet.
Yeah. How are we thinking about the sea life this year? Because last year it was amazing.
Mammoth
Mm.
last year.
And you got lots of shots,
Yeah.
didn't you, last year, Dave?
Yeah, there's this cetacean heaven, actually. You know, there's whales and dolphins, and it's just amazing, wasn't it?
Mm.
You just had to look out, and there was a spout or a
Yep.
tail, and it was just ongoing.
Mm.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, we got quite a lot of wind last year, and I think it chopped up the seas, and the whales were, as you said, just breaching and tail slapping. It was phenomenal. I hadn't seen that much sea life in my entire life. It was quite amazing. Dolphins, everything. People said that we thought we saw a shark on the first day when we turned up.
We did.
No, well, Timmy doesn't think that sharks exist. So
I've never seen one.
so hopefully there's no sharks, but if we get that many whales again, that was something special.
Well, they're heading south already, apparently. So
Yeah, I saw one heading south today, actually.
Oh, right.
So maybe we'll see them on their way back. That'll be nice.
I just think that part of the coast of New South Wales is spectacular. I love always going up there, Smiths Lake, or Louise,
Yeah.
or Elizabeth Beach. Just fantastic. Gives you so many options because you've got Elizabeth Beach facing northeast. So if you've got a southerly, you just go there. It's offshore.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Boomerang's protected in that north corner, and you've got the wide open beach of Bluey. So
Yeah.
there's so many options up there if treachery's not working. So
That's right. And I guess, Dave, what I want to know is why do you like Whomp Camp, one, and then broader, why do you love the body surfing community? What is it that keeps you coming back? I mean, you had the itch for body surfing way back in the day when you were a Grom, but things take their course over time. I think of even playing soccer. I don't have a desire to play soccer anymore. I loved it when I was playing, but I'm older now. How did you keep the desire for wanting to body surf?
I was thinking about this today because for 45 of the 50 years that I've been body surfing, I've been doing it alone. And I had a friend sometimes that would do it with me, but the majority of that time was alone. And I've joined up with this wonderful body surfing community in Sydney, and that's given us a fellowship that I've never had with body surfing. So that's reinvigorated. I've always loved it. I've always loved swimming in the ocean. We all do. And when I was living in the UK, I was just dying. Every year that I came back, and I had to go in that water within 4 hours of landing. I was swimming the Gold Coast. I was visiting mum and dad. So I've always loved it. There's never been a loss of the love. But with with Instagram and joining ESBS and this body surfing community, which you guys have also fostering as well, as sort of like made me revisit my youth.
Awesome. Yeah.
And to be there's nothing better than being out in the water with like-minded individuals, and I just love that because it's something I really didn't have when I was young. And it's special. Yeah. That's why I might appear over-enthusiastic sometimes.
No, it's that when Belly loves that, and I think that's the same feeling Belly gets from it, even though he's quite a bit younger. He loves that it brings all ages, all types of people, all ethnicities, colours of skin. It doesn't matter. It brings everyone together. And Timmy, even something forward selling, I guess, from that to some of our future guests. You actually had an interesting interview that we pre-recorded yesterday.
Yeah. We got, you may know them from Instagram, Purveyor of Stoke. Got to catch up with them via Zoom. It's great during this time of isolation. People are connecting via video chat, and we've been able to record a few podcasts with people we generally wouldn't be able to connect with because of limitations. So we've recorded a few interviews, mainly with people from California, and I love getting to know that area because it's somewhere I would like to visit soon. It probably won't happen for a few years, but I'm getting a few people who might be able to foster me and put out a doona on the futon when I'm ready to go over. But yeah, Purveyor of Stoke was a really interesting chat, and one we've got in the can and ready to play in a few weeks' time after the dust of Whomp Camp has settled. So, and we'll probably have a few more guests. Hopefully some people from Hawaii soon. I'm very interested to talk to them. It would be great, and I know we haven't really spoken about this on the podcast before. We've never really put it out there, but Wolfo, maybe this is someone we need to start tracking down. Is old mate from Defin, Mark Cunningham.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's one, maybe, we have the potential to record him face to face, but do we use this time now to jump on Zoom and do it via video conference?
It's going to be a long time till he comes over here.
Exactly, yeah.
So
I think we make the most of this awful virus, and we jump on and talk to a few people from Hawaii, a few people from California. Are there any other people? You lived in the UK, David. Are there any other body surfers from the UK that we should be tracking down?
I don't know any personally, but I had one. I did body surf New Quay, and the funny thing is when you do that and you get out of the water half an hour later, you've got another 300 metres to walk because the tide's gone out.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so I mean the cramps would be, you wouldn't want to be cramping if you're walking home on that. Yeah, but it's Tim, as you said, you hit the nail on the head there. It is this thing called body surfing is worldwide, where I guess we're trying to keep it as informal as possible, and I think that's what the beauty of body surfing is that it is not this really heavily organised thing. It's just jumping in with your mates, having fun. And Dave, it's a really good point you raised about saying that for a long time you did it alone. Oh. People were surfing, people were bodyboarding. Not everyone was body surfing, and I think of some of the guys that have joined our club. And Aaron said, he's like, 4 weeks ago, I thought I was the only person in the world who did this. And so now he's like learning about, and he's so eager to learn about all the history of our body surfing. And gradually over the next, I guess, 5, 10, 20 years, I would love someone like, we spoke a lot about Hypto tonight, him putting together the book that he wants to do, like things like that. I would love a written down history of body surfing, someone in the know that doesn't just have the knowledge in their head, but they can write it down for someone to read and categorize. I'd love it.
We do talk briefly about that with Purveyor of Stoke, about the oldest body surfing crew in the California area. Don McCready is apparently a member.
Oh, yeah, mate, he's got his hand in all the pies.
So we'll have a bit of a chat about that. But Woofo, before we wrap things up tonight, I just want to check with the live chat. Is there anyone confirming their attendance at Whomp Camp? Because we really don't know who's going to be there.
The live chat was probably a bit thin on tonight, I reckon.
Pretty quiet.
because we were live for about 4 hours before we went actually live. And then now that we're actually live, I don't even... Is it working, Wolfo?
Yeah, it's working.
It is working, but we're very thin on, and I didn't do a lot of promotional work this afternoon to get people interested. But you know what? We're a podcast, Tim. Believe it or not.
Corey's there. Rob's there.
Corey's there. Oh,
Yep.
Actually, Corey had a good surf today somewhere. If anyone saw his story, that looked quite...
Is Corey
Quite
coming to
interesting.
Whomp Camp?
He is.
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, good.
confirmed. Yeah, I asked him
Is
this
Rob's
afternoon.
coming?
He is.
Oh, great. Okay, so there's a few people going. Now, Goldie Sliders, they're scrapped.
Gone.
Gonskis. Who else is unable to attend? That's pretty much it.
The Western Australians.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Aloysius. Yeah, he was there last year. I'm pretty sure, wasn't he? I could be wrong. Maybe he came to Whomp Off.
Yep.
But yeah, anyone who's I guess outside New South Wales, Tim, is gone.
Do you think anyone's going to be coming from the South Coast?
I'm guessing Hipto's coming.
Yeah.
But apart from
He's
that,
sleeping in his van.
No, he's not sleeping in the cabin.
Too expensive. $50 a night.
Don't throw him under the bus there, mate. We all fall on hard times.
I'll
you
take
know.
that. I'll take that for $50.
And apparently he's a woeful snorer.
How do you go with the old snoring, Dave?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Now, can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course you can.
Have we heard from Ricky about what's happening with Whomp Off this year?
Well,
Is it in the can or?
yeah, great point, Dave. I think what we're going to do is try and get an ACA, a current affair exclusive with Ricky while we're at Whomp Camp and just nail him down and see what's happening there. It's a very tough year. He had some big plans, and a lot of that stuff has probably had to be, I don't know, rethought because obviously we've got a lot of restrictions in place. So yeah, we want to know, and I'm sure the rest of the body surfing community would like to know. So we will definitely sit down with Ricky at Whomp Camp and see what's going to happen with Whomp Off for 2020.
The last I heard of it, Tim, was that he was still looking towards doing it in a fire-affected community.
Yeah.
This year. Now, obviously with COVID, it's going to be pretty hard to do anything on a large scale.
Yeah.
But maybe even a smaller event. He may look
Yeah.
at doing
Just New
smaller
South Wales.
teams,
Yeah.
just New South Wales.
Yeah, it looks like most of the borders are going to be shut for the rest of the year. So Queensland or Victorians or even Western Australians, it's going to be tricky to get them here. So definitely no Hawaii, but even some other closer states will probably not be able to jump over. So yeah, it's going to be a very different looking competition, and we'll get the scoop at Whomp Camp this weekend.
We will. Now, Dave, as we wrap it up, words of wisdom, mate. I think you've been around the game a long time. I think in any interview we always miss something. Now, I always give the opportunity for the people that we interview to, maybe say something that's on their heart about body surfing, or maybe raise something that we haven't raised. Can you think of anything? Do you have anything on your heart, on your mind that you want to let the listeners know about?
Of course, I'll think of something as soon as I get home.
To put you on the spot, yeah.
No,
Sorry.
You've asked some good questions, and I've been issues I want to address, or things that I think, just enjoy it while you can. Don't think that you've got to catch every wave. Don't think that you've got to get to every session. Just enjoy it and relax about it.
Yeah, well, that's it.
And remember what it is, and you're just being in the ocean, and I find that's the place where I'm calmest.
Yeah, that's true. And when you're seeking that maybe you're seeking that shot, you want to kind of get a Corey Sainsbury-esque shot or a Ricky Gilby-esque shot, and you don't get it. Even the other day, I was like, oh man, maybe I should like. Remember the last wave just before you left? It was a really sucky, thick, slabby, similar to you probably would have got a similar shot to the Paul Cador shot that you posted the other day. And I didn't go because one, I was just incredibly tired, but two, I also was like, oh, it's pretty dangerous. And then I went away from that and I was like, oh, I should have just gone. And I was really down on myself, but body surfing is just not about that. There's so many more opportunities for something like that to happen. Get out there, enjoy it, have fun.
Yeah. So I've only got a couple of ambitions really. Is I've got to shoot Cape at some stage. I haven't done that yet.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
I love Wolfo's done it and Iola's done it, and so I haven't done that. And one day I want to go and shoot Tiahupu in Tahiti. That, to me, that's a natural wonder of the world, that wave. And I'd love to get on a boat and be able to spend an afternoon shooting that. Because the sun's in the right place. And
it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So
Have you been to places like Cloudbreak and some of the other big wave spots around the world?
no, I haven't really. I body surfed Antigua in 1 foot on a reef.
Did you come off second best?
No, it was all right. I went about 5 feet. That was the 94-95 tour, because I went over to see Australian cricket team take back the Frank Worrell Top Trophy
Oh, nice.
from in the 94-95 series.
Wow.
That was brilliant. Yeah.
That would have been fun.
Yeah, so those are my two ambitions.
Awesome, man. That's
Good
cool.
stuff. Well, I think we've got to get out of here. Do it all again real soon. We've got to pack up and get our tents and mattresses. I don't know if you've noticed, I've been camping out in the living room just to get ready for Whomp Camp.
Can you spin a camera around on that? Because that is atrocious.
Look at the radiator.
Hey, it's a tiled floor. You couldn't be any colder in here if you tried. It's so bad.
Just getting ready for Whomp Camp. So,
and a knitted blanket.
I'm packing all that. I hope they can fit in your car. I'm taking all those blankets.
No chance.
But we got to get out of here. Do it all again real soon at Whomp Camp this weekend. I'm very excited. Dave will see you there. But for now,
It's always overhead when you're body surfing.
you.